Welcome to Through the Rough, a place where real-life people share the real-life experiences that have shaped us into who we are today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and that is live. I'll say it like this, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Through the Rough. This is a cool conversation between Sam and my brother, Slade. Slade, you want to introduce yourself?
Slade, I'm your brother.
Slade's a little camera shy. We're just going to... This isn't going to be a traditional Through the Rough where we're talking about somebody's experience, but this is going to be essentially just me and Slade shooting the shit back and forth as brothers. One of the things we like to do, or we have done in the past, and I think I enjoyed it, and I think I speak for Slade as well, is during our workday, we'll slip away right after a morning meeting and then go and have coffee and sit and chit-chat for about an hour or so and have a coffee break. We wanted to kind of incorporate those same conversation types into the podcast, into Through the Rough podcast, and that's what we're going to try to do here today. Some of the things that Slade and I talk about on a regular basis are philosophy, life goals, life skills, experiences that we've gone through, and lessons that we've learned in very various different ways. So we're going to be kind of a philosophical-based conversation today. Fair enough, Slade? Yeah, you don't have to be nervous, man. It's just you're having a conversation with me just like you normally do. All right, so I got to warm you up a little bit. It's going to take a minute to warm you up, huh?
Yeah.
I'm not going to dive right in. Let's just go in easy. How's life? Slade's one of the only people that, Slade is the only person I've ever met who has two sets of twins that are less than 2 years apart.
All four still in diapers.
How's that? How do you like that?
I love it. No, it's definitely something that teaches you to grow quickly. Well, for one, your patience is tested every day, almost all the time.
Differently than in what situation? Obviously your patience gets tested in traffic. What makes having four babies? I think that's a pretty obvious answer.
I mean, growing up the way we have, just wanting to provide a different environment for my children, and I know you're the same way. So just really, you got to stay conscious and keeping yourself in check in those moments when you want to pull your hair out or just walk out the door.
Yeah.
It's seeing all the little toys and all the little socks. That's what gets me the most.
Like all the little baby stuff.
Yeah, like their socks are laying on the floor. I'll just sit there and stare at it. And he'll be like, what are you doing?
Just paying attention. Speaking of philosophy and philosophical thought, nature versus reality. Is reality objective, subjective, or something in between? Are we living in a simulation? What does it mean to truly exist? Do we have free will? That's a question. Slade, do you think we have free will or not? Like, what's your opinion on that?
I think a lot of my answers are going to be yes and no.
Okay.
Everybody on this planet has got the same destination.
That's the grave.
Yeah, and just for anybody listening, it's tough for me to put my thoughts into words. There's times where it feels like things, where you say, oh, it's meant to be, or it's like you feel like something should have happened. So kind of feel like there's things that are done by design, but at the same time, you get to choose how you get there.
By whose design?
I guess it would be what most people would call God.
What is God to you?
To me, God is literally everything. And at the same time, it's just you.
Okay, so I elaborate what you mean by everything, and you start with everything when you say God is everything.
A box of nerds is a box of nerds. You dump it out on the table, and one nerd is still a nerd.
Yep.
Or you got a handful, and it's still a nerd. If that makes sense.
No. So,
what was your question?
What, like, how do you feel that God is everything? Here, I'll give you I'll break it down the way that I see it. And hopefully this will help kind of loosen up a little. For me, when you say that, how it resonates with me or how I contextualize something like that as God is everything is I see things in existence as an observed or an unobserved wave or a particle that has been not observed or it has been observed. And when you observe said particle takes a superposition or a position that it's going to remain in as it's being observed, right? I think that particle, that wave, is an energy form, and that energy form is the existence of God. Like without that is energy waves function, all of these unobserved options or particles or multitudes of things that can or can't be or can and can't be all together equal that God power or that God energy or however. That's just how I see it, right? Everything is made of particles. Everything is made of waves. Everything is in a superposition until it's observed. Everything is made of that. Your trees are made of that. Your rocks are made of that. your cups, your tables, your everything is made of this shit. And without that, man, I could totally like backpedal and be like, in my opinion, consciousness is God because consciousness is the observer. Consciousness is what's making that observation to put that superposition into a position.
Yeah. I mean, in its simplest form, literally everything.
It is everything.
It's everything that is and everything that isn't and everything that will be, everything that was. And I think it's been like the idea of God has been, and I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for this by
Nope.
anybody, has been skewed as a tool to control and unfortunately essentially used to, for lack of a better word, brainwash the society to control them, scare them. Do it this way or you're going to go to a bad place. Do it my way and you're going to go to a good place. What if just when your time is up, you just go everywhere or you got to do it all again in a different way until you learn a lesson? I mean, those are the things I wonder about.
Those are the things you wonder about.
Yeah. Like what happens after? I don't think it's just nothingness after that.
Okay. So that is going to jump me into something else. Intelligence. Do you think conscious is intelligence? Consciousness is intelligence?
Well, I've seen conscious people that aren't very intelligent, but
They're not conscious people. I think they're autopilot robots.
guess, look at it in levels. Level 1, level 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth,
Like
but
where your state of awareness is, like your actual state of awareness in the, let's just call it the grand scheme.
yeah,
And that's kind of how you recognize these concepts.
and just gotta let people level up.
How do you propose people level up?
Study self-awareness. Look for the answers inside yourself. Like, a lot of people spend time pointing fingers everywhere other than in the mirror. Something that created a lot of positive change for me is when I started being honest with myself. That's where I started feeling like I was actually growing as a person.
Once you the way I describe that to other people, and not everybody's gone through this situation, but I'm like, have you ever had a creditor just calling and calling and calling and calling, and you just avoid it as much as you can? And then when you finally answer the phone and you finally face what that fucker has to say,
Yep.
how once you hang up the phone, there's this sense of relief because now you have a plan. And I think that's the same way as you trudge through life. A lot of people are afraid to face the hard stuff. And how you gain that awareness or that adaptability is by facing it, recognizing it. And when you do that and accept it or even submit to it, then it gives you or it allows you that recognition or that opportunity to grow and circumvent that situation or how to circumvent that situation in the future. That continued practice over and over and over again with more and more complexity adds to that level of awareness that you have as a human being.
Yeah, and like what you said with acceptance, I think I said this to you the other day, was there's a lot of power in acceptance.
You said there's a lot of power in like I don't think it was the word acceptance, but I think it was like submitting or just like
Essentially, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Just
yeah, it's the same thing, right?
concept is the same. Yeah.
Relinquishing
Control,
yeah,
essentially.
relinquishing control in an
And
area where you really don't have any.
one of the things I'm working on right now is not trying to control all these other things that I can't control. And that's freaking exhausting.
It's an example of something that you cannot control.
Use my relationship, like my marriage, just through understanding some of the traumas growing up and through several relationships that I've been in, understanding that I put myself in those situations because I wasn't aware of said traumas, but it took recognizing that I'm trying to control, not like you be home at 9 o'clock, you do this, you do that, but just out of fear of not wanting to repeat any of the traumas. My nervous system essentially is triggering me to protect myself the way I did as a child, only now I'm doing it as an adult with these defensive mechanisms. Like a specific example, it's hard to really put into words, but let's say somebody's afraid they're going to be cheated on. And that's a legitimate fear of mine. Like, I'll be vulnerable there. It's happened before, but being afraid that you're going to be cheated on. So, like, your nervous system has you doing these things where you try to constantly get reassurance, you're asking questions, question everything. You're over vigilant and hyper aware of things.
Building preemptive walls before you even need to,
Yeah, and assuming without any evidence
in a
is
sense,
another one.
almost submitting to self-sabotage.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not fair to either person in a relationship for one, but like it's exhausting for both people and it's quite frankly unnecessary
So
because like you gotta and I know I'm kind of going off tangent, but you gotta know you're gonna be okay no matter what. And
yeah.
that goes back to looking inside yourself.
So what mechanisms do you think that are in play? Like not everybody sees the world that way and not everybody sees other people that way. I know there was a time in my life where I'll be honest, man, I didn't trust anybody. I don't give a shit who you were. You could have been the president of the United States. I don't trust any of them. I don't trust any of them. Well, maybe Ronald Reagan. I trust Ronald Reagan. He was a pretty cool guy. But and I didn't trust George Washington. That son of a bitch had lead teeth, so he was crazy as a motherfucker.
I thought they had wood or he had wood
He
teeth.
had lead. He had wooden teeth, but they were encased in lead, and it basically gave him lead poisoning, which is why he went across the Delaware River on Christmas night screaming like a lunatic and killed all of his enemies in their sleep, and then won our independence,
Right
thanks to
on.
lead.
Way to go, Ed.
But the mechanisms that are in place that people approach circumstances or situations where they have their guard up or they're preemptively putting their guard up when they don't have to. You talk about traumas and past experiences like yeah, I've been cheated on before. Like I get that, but what other underlying factors, in your opinion, do you think affect people that way? Like what would cause you to just to live your life on guard?
I personally believe a lot of it stems from, I would say, like the first 10 years of your life.
Yeah, just being treated like shit or whatever the case may be.
It
Maybe like
might not
shit.
even be being treated like shit. Like trauma isn't like, and this is where I fucked up was until my mid 30s. I thought trauma was like going to war and watching your best friend die. Like, yes, that's trauma. But like, let's look at like a 3-year-old kid and they can't communicate. You can't communicate with them. And you put them in a room, you shut the door without saying a word, and you leave them in there for 2 hours. To a 3-year-old kid, I mean, that's like going to war.
It's an eternity for one, with absolutely no idea what the fuck's going on or why.
Yeah. And like back to what's it like with twins, those are the weird things that I really, really try to pay attention to. I study my kids' faces constantly because and their body language and their tones because I don't want them to feel the way that I have felt, and I want them to be able to be assets to the world when they grow up.
Where's the fine line between overdoing it and becoming an umbrella or a helicopter?
I let them make mistakes. All right, you wanna jump off the couch onto a bouncy ball? Well, let's see what happens.
You wanna stick that scissors in that light socket, go right ahead.
But like, go running across the room with a rollerblade and a shoe on. You fall down, you get hurt. I'm not running over. Oh my God, you're okay. You're okay. It's get up. You're all right. Just trying to teach them independence, but not like arrogant
Yeah.
independence. Just like that. Hey, I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah, like, learn.
Yeah.
Um, you had mentioned nervous system, like I'm assuming you're referring to like neuroplasticity and like how in your youth, even trauma, anything in your youth, it can be trauma, it can be growth, it can be learning something. How when you're a kid, your nervous system literally adapts and develops around that specific thing. So, like, if all you do from age 1 to age 25 is fight with katana blades, you're going to be a master at age 40, where somebody who's 20 years old who picks it up will suck shit at 40. They'll be good, but they won't even compare to you.
That's why I'm
The same,
so good at sleeping.
yeah, but well, yeah. Well, the same thing applies for trauma. I
It
think when you grow up or you're raised in a really high tense or stressful situation,
embeds itself into your nervous system.
like you mentioned something the other day where you thought when that those things happen that the body recognizes that energy, if you'll call it, and it activates that nervous system in the body. Talk about that a little bit. Like, tell me what you mean by that.
Well, I read a book called The Body Keeps Score. The Body Keeps Score. I don't remember who wrote it, but that's where I kind of got into learning about that. And then what was the name of that therapist guy? Was it Tim Fletcher that I had sent you?
That I don't
I
know.
I think it was Tim Fletcher. He's got a Got a lot of videos on YouTube where he talks about trauma and how your nervous system essentially, you could almost think of your nervous system as an SD card and it stores those memories and it's almost like your reactions are put on autopilot. So let's say you're 7 years old and you have a traumatic event, one of your parents does something and it traumatizes you.
Scolds you for whatever reason, you mean?
Yeah, or abandons you.
Okay.
Puts you in a position where you feel abandoned.
Locks you in a room for 3 hours or 2 hours and walks away when you're 3?
Yeah, without a word.
Yeah.
So now, say you're 30 years old, you're in a relationship, and something happens that triggers that. Let's say your partner doesn't respond in a quick enough fashion, that can trigger abandonment. But what happens is if it escalates, your nervous system takes over, and all of a sudden you become that 6, 7-year-old kid, and your prefrontal cortex essentially stops working. You go back into, I believe it's like the limbic system, where it's the fight or flight caveman version of your brain, like that, your nervous system or what's taking over. And it's at the age of like where the trauma happened. So it'd be, you're in your mid 30s acting like a 6-year-old, essentially what would be called having a tantrum
So
now.
you revert back to that temper tantrum phase to
Yeah.
get either what you want, the recognition you need, the comfort you need, or whatever, or to get the situation to stop altogether.
Yeah, like, and it's a survival mechanism because when you're little, that's what you did. Like you, as a child, you don't know what you need to do to survive or to navigate a situation like that. So your body just kind of takes over for you and keeps you alive.
How do you recognize when in yourself? How do you recognize when something like that, when that emotion or that nervous reaction or whatever the fuck you call it, when that's triggered in you? How do you recognize it in yourself? And then what do you do?
It's you really have to be honest with yourself for one to know like, okay, when I'm triggered in this way, I start acting like a 10-year-old. That's step one. Step two is paying attention to your body. Like, do you start breathing heavier? Do you stop breathing? Like, where do you hold your breath? In myself, it's my shoulders tense up, my chest tightens up, and then it's like one at a time. I start flexing different parts of my body, start getting tense, and I'll stop breathing. So once my body's telling me like, "Hey, bro, you're like about to turn into a kid," you recognize it, call yourself out, and take a couple deep breaths. Like, dude, it's so amazing what just some deep breaths will do for you.
You and Chantel, when you were little, you fuckers used to hold your breath until you passed out. Did you know that?
I don't know if I did it till I passed out.
No, you did.
Chantel
Chantel would go, like, straight up purple and
on
everything.
balloons,
Yeah, and her face would swell up. You'd think she was dead. But I remember you used to do that where you'd pass out. Like, Chantel would do it anytime mom would leave the house.
go out to get a loaf of bread from the freezer.
Yeah, like,
Next
it's
thing you know, passed
ridiculous.
out.
Temper tantrum, mom's 15 feet away, but Chantel thought the world was ending.
But
But you
that's
would do it under
traumatic.
different circumstances. You would generally do it. I'm hoping I'm remembering this correctly, but you would generally do it if you weren't exactly getting your way.
I honestly don't
It
remember.
wasn't as frequent. Chantel would do it constantly. I swear to God, every hour she was having a temper tantrum. Yours wasn't as frequent, but I do remember that you'd tense up, you tense your arms,
But I mean, I
you'd
could
go
see it.
rigid, and you'd hold your breath, and you just boop.
I could see it being that because, like, I've reflected a lot on childhood, and I think one of the things I felt a lot was invisible.
You felt invisible as a kid?
Yeah.
Tell me about that. This is crazy because like our childhood is completely different. Although we grew up in the same house, a lot of things happened between me being 17 and you were at the time 12.
But I mean, what was it, 12? I think it was about 12 when mom kind of went off and did her thing, and it was pretty much me and Chantel raised ourselves at that point. But I don't know. I just like don't really feel like my new dad didn't really like we hung out with mom and stuff, but she had all these other things that she was doing on the farm, busy. So yeah, I don't know. I just like we hung out, but also 5 years age difference. Like you're not always gonna want to do the same thing like a 6-year-old is gonna want to do. Plus, it
Yeah.
was poisoning pocket gophers. I mean,
You made up a song about a cottonwood tree named Frederick, you called him.
yeah,
The
I
cottonwood tree.
seriously forgot all about that till you mentioned it. What was that, like 6 months ago?
Yeah. Frederick. I don't even remember how it goes, but I remember you sang
I
the shit out of that.
I couldn't tell you. I do remember my invisible friend Hossie.
Hossie. Man, for the life of me, I looked and looked and looked, and I tried to figure out what the fuck that meant. I was like, is he talking to an alien, a ghost, some kind of subconscious monster?
Like, Like, if as an adult, if I had to, give her a face, it would be Peppermint Patty from Charlie Brown.
Oh, no shit.
That's kinda what she was.
Right on.
Yeah,
S
Aussie.
Hossy. And then I think of the car wash things, Hot Seas, Host or Hotsey, there you go, Hot Seas. But
Never connected those dots.
rightfully so, Slade, they are not spelled the same. But neuroplasticity in the nervous system from childhood trauma bleeds over into your adulthood. You recognize that in your adulthood. You can tell me and Slade have two completely different personalities. Slade's kind of an introvert.
I've actually got 3.
Yeah, Slade's got three personalities. I have somewhere around 12. You ever wonder, like, do you ever talk in accents or anything?
Oh, yeah. Like, at home all the time.
Do you ever wonder if maybe like the reason you're able to talk in that accent is because that's a past life you lived once?
Could be
Yeah. Like I was an old Russian at some time.
Irish and Scottish and all the other fun ones.
Poland's starting to pick up on accents. It's fun hilarious. He does like an Indian accent, the dot, not feather. And then he does like a Russian one. He's getting better at it. He does a British one he really likes. He's really hilarious.
Yeah, I love it.
But yeah, he's picking up on that all the time. Smart kid, man, that guy, that little boy. Him and Valor are so different.
Just like, that's just the way it goes, man.
Like you and I are different, but I don't think I mean, I guess I don't even know. I know who you are when I see you and when you're around me, but I don't know who you are. And I made that comment to my kids the other day. I'm like, I get you guys, like when you're around me, I see who you are around me, but I know that's all bullshit and it's all an act because when you're around your friends, that's who you really are. You're little shitheads. And you're always doing this or that. I'm like, that's the person that I want to know. I want to know who you guys really are. Not when you're around me trying to impress me and give me this impression that you're these awesome little well-rounded angels, because I know
Perfect
you're
little
all
kids.
Eddie Haskells, but, like, it's who are you really? I think the only person on this earth that really knows me, like, really, really knows me is Lindsay, and that's part of the reason that our relationship, our marriage has been so strong is because from the very, very beginning, when we first met, I made a promise to myself that I was going to be 100% honest and transparent with her.
Authentic self.
Yeah, and that way, as my relationship developed, I didn't have to, like, pretend to be somebody else, or I didn't have to keep a act going,
Wearing a
or
mask.
or if I ended the act, how it would affect her. So,
Yeah.
from day 1, she's known exactly who I am, and, like, she's known my personality, my quirks, the things that, like, set me off, or the things that get me excited or happy and sad. She's known that from the beginning, so it's, like, it's not like she's had to suddenly 7,
Wait,
8 years later, like, "Oh,
who is this man?
who's this guy I married?" Yeah, it's not like that.
Yeah, and that's not to be confused with knowing everything about you, because I know there's people that, puke everything out within a few days, and all of a sudden it's like, "Holy cow, there's nothing left to know about you."
Yeah, like, okay, well, so my childhood trauma mechanic is kicking in. I'm fucking out of here. No, I get it. I get it. Like people who just all they do is vomit the information because I think what that person is looking for, and this is just an opinion, but I think what that person is looking for is they're trying to almost like a narcissist does when it's called love bombing.
Mhm.
It's kind of the same thing. They're just dumping all this. Oh, look how transparent I am.
Yeah.
Look at I'm being so open with you. You should accept me.
Wonder if that would be like the codependent version of love bombing.
Maybe. I mean, one might think so, but like, I think, you had mentioned this recently, but I think, like, having that alone time is super important too.
Yeah, that's something I'm, just discovering.
Uh, in the year 2024, at least the last 6 months, I think the last 6 months of 2024, I really started focusing on not just work-life balance, but life balance.
Life balance.
Yeah, life balance, like, having that balance for myself, for my creativity, for my hobbies, and then specifically for my family, and that has to be broken down, like, specific balance with my wife. Sorry, I'm trying not to burp hiccup
Mhm.
after this drinking coffee at 6 o'clock at night. My work-life balance, my wife life balance, and then my kids' life balance, and then with all of them together balance. So it's like you
Yeah,
gotta be in Cirque du Soleil or some kind of super
it's
engineer to balance your life,
it's a lot.
because you
And
still have to
then
have time for yourself.
like, with the kids, making sure, like, you don't leave any one of them feeling left out
Oh my
or anything
god,
like
right.
that. And
I tell you.
I gotta break that up 10 different ways.
Yeah. Like, when Valor was born, I was worried. This is really weird. I don't know if I've ever told anybody this, but, like, when Valor was born, I really didn't want him to be born because I didn't wanna take away from Roland.
That's fair.
I had that guilt,
Mhm.
I have all of this love that I'm, wrapping Roland up like a pig in a blanket type thing,
Yeah,
and then when Valor comes into the picture, I'm like, "Shit, now I have to take that, and I have to take some of
split
that
it
and put
up.
it over here," and I was like, "It's not gonna be fair."
You know,
I didn't know how to understand, especially first-time parents, you know what the fuck you're doing.
I think I can relate to that with the twins. Having the girls, they're gonna be 2 in April, and, like, this is the first time that I've actually got to, like, be home and, like, see my kids go from the hospital into the little people that they are.
When you say first time, is it that because of your job choice right now, right? Your career path
Yeah, yeah,
allows for that?
yeah.
Okay.
Where for I built bridges, I was on the road, I was hardly ever home, I was part-time dad on the weekends, but I get to be home every single night now, and, like, when the second set of twins came, I think I felt that same kinda way where, like, "Oh, no, I have to take some of this love and away from you guys, sorry." But, like, it's getting now where it's a lot easier to deal with, and everybody's included, and, like, the girls love the babies, constantly wanting to hold she calls them shy shy. It's cute, but, yeah, I can relate to that, though.
What's it's gonna be I gotta be man, dude, I don't know how the hell I can't even begin to try and fathom what your life is going to be like in the next over the next 10 years as those children start to grow.
I'm curious.
4 kids all within 2 years of each other, 2 sets of twins, audience, back to back, mind you, 2 sets of twins. They were back to back. Like, what the fuck? I remember you came here like, "Look, she's pregnant." I'm like, "What, already?" He's like, "Yeah, with twins." I'm like, Shut up, stop lying." Hey, I was like, "You gotta be no way." I'm like, "Really?" "Yeah, I'm being serious." I'm like, "No, you're not."
Hence the tears in my eyes.
Yeah, I'm like, "What the fuck? Like, are you okay, dude?"
No, it's cool, though. Got a boy out of the deal.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to stop by throughtherough.net to check out our latest episodes, merchandise, and hit that donation tab to keep content coming. See you again next week.